Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet, presented to you by Betway. Join with me is Nicholas Paleolog. I'm Adam Peddle, and today, guys, Juan Soto. Even before the World Series, this guy's name is starting to go into the headlines. He could be in a bidding war upcoming in just a few weeks because Steve Cohen, he's not going to go down without a fight. He might be in an absolute bidding war with the New York Yankees for that guy's future. And as well, money continues to fly around as you've got Ohtani's ball officially selling. The 50-50 home run ball sells, and there's some drama still around that baseball, if you believe it or not. And as well, we already talked about the World Series, but we got some more interesting notes as the World Series begins tomorrow night. We'll talk about that and more, but before we do, Nick, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man. I'll be honest, I'm very jealous of Juan Soto and everything that he is going to be having happen to him in the next 12 months' time, dude. That guy, he is in for a pay day, dude. Just as Jazz Chisholm Jr. has come out and said, man, pay my guy. It has got to feel so good, like just so incredible if you're a professional athlete and, you know, you're at the caliber of somebody like a Juan Soto and you know that, you know, in a couple months, you know, you don't necessarily know where you're going to go, right? You got a couple different ideas and whatever, but you know that in a couple months' time, you are not only going to be, you know, $500, $600 million richer, but you're also going to immediately become the hero of wherever you go. Like, it's like you're a fucking superhero, dude.
And you know what's great about Juan Soto is he already won a World Series ring. He's already done all these accolades, you know, and it's like, okay, well, I don't really need to go and base my decision off of like, oh, am I going to win a World Series or not? He can just go and get the bag.
Dude, I mean, like what's happened to him in his career is every single player's dream. Like, obviously, like he himself has been incredible, but to walk into a situation and immediately win a World Series like that, and then to also go to the playoffs as many times as he has gone to the playoffs, you know, in his short career, like literally, it's like you got the monkey off your back immedely, right? Because you got elites still chasing their first ring. You got Bryce Harper still chasing his first ring. Aaron Judge currently chasing his first ring. Like, the list goes on and on.
Right.
Mike Trout, dude, this guy's never going to win a ring.
No,
Literally never
man.
unless he gets traded somewhere like in his age 38
and he's
season.
off the bench and he's
exactly.
You know, declining.
He is never going to win a ring, right? Whereas Juan Soto got that dealt with immediately. So it's almost like for the remainder, I don't. This is a little probably ridiculous to say, but it's like for the remainder of your career, it's like you're playing with house money.
Yeah,
you know, like it's whatever, dude. Like, I'm just gonna focus on hitting home runs and being elite and getting the bag, like you said.
Yeah,
'cause I already did all that.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, there's this article right here, you know, where they're talking about, you know, the whole Juan Soto situation and what kind of decision he's going to be making this offseason, or how he's going to be making this decision. And there's a lot of people that think, like, we even talked about on this podcast, where, oh, well, if he goes deeper into the playoffs, like, is that going to influence his decision? Because, hey, I'm with the Yankees. We've said this a ton of times.
Sure.
I'm already with the Yankees. I'm already winning. Like, this is so good. Why would I ever leave New York to go to another team that's losing? Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We got this article here by Zach Wisnik, or Wazink. Shout out to you. He has a quote right here. And I believe this is Gaur. I don't even know how to say these people's names. But they're saying any notion that the Yankees winning the World Series would give them a significant leg up on re-signing superstar Juan Soto is wishful at best. Trophies are nice, but Soto, who turned down a $440 million contract from the Nationals before he was traded in 2022, has spoken about advancing the market and pushing things forward for the next group of players. So, yeah, like if he just cared about money, I mean, maybe you would take the 440, but he really did believe in himself. Like, I'm gonna go and just get the biggest bag. I'm gonna keep pushing that market. So for me, yeah, it doesn't really matter for him. I don't think. Whoever wants to pay him the most, I'll go and play there.
Yeah, 100%. And like Juan Soto has come out himself and talked about how he wants to, advance that market for not only himself, but like other players, which, I mean, I guess you could say is admirable, but at the same point, like, let's face it, like, this guy's thinking about the $650 million that he's going to have.
Let me push
the
limits, and so everyone else can get paid.
So everybody else can get it, but, you know, meanwhile, like, let me just take my 600 and, you know, go do what I'm doing. But you know what? All due respect, like, you are entitled to that money, right? You've played at a high caliber, or at an incredible caliber, what am I saying, right, to warrant that level of contract. And everybody can honestly agree that, I mean, you are that guy, right? Like, we want to pay you that money because you are that guy. You are going to take us to the next level, especially if he does go out and win a chip, right? Because maybe if he wins a World Series, that doesn't change things in terms of, his, I guess, intent on staying with the Yankees. But if, he wins the World Series MVP and comes up with the biggest clutch moments, Steve Cohen's just going to get that more rock solid about bringing you in. It's like he's going to be like, holy shit, we got to get this guy. Yeah. If he hits the go-ahead home run to win the Yankees the World Series, right?
Maybe that's the difference, right? That's what we need to take down the Dodgers.
Dude that's going to do it. And honestly, like, you would be onto something there, Steve. Like, he could very well be the difference. So the biggest obstacle right now for these New York Yankees is, of course, going to be Steve Cohen. While you were talking about Juan Soto and like his intentions and everything like that, I was looking up like the New York Mets and their payroll ever since Steve Cohen took over, right? So he bought he became a majority ownership in the New York Mets in August in November, excuse me, is when the deal went through in 2020. Right. So you can look at 2021 and onwards, right? 2021, and meanwhile, he just came in here, so we didn't have that much time to do a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. But in 2021, they had the third highest payroll behind the Yankees, behind the Dodgers. Wow. 2022, they had the second highest payroll. It jumped up about $60 million. So they were $2 million behind the Dodgers for the number one spot.
I remember that offseason.
That was 2022. Well, I think the offseason that you really remember
is
this next one, because they jumped from 268 all the way up to $343 million. And that works out to be something like $80 million, $75 million more than the next team. So like a shitload. And then this past year, they dropped down just a little bit to the $317 million
poverty
dollar mark. But this is where it gets interesting, right? This is where you can really start to see how the door might open for Steve Cohen and for these New York Mets, because this past year in 2024, we're spending $317 million total. But in 2025, their current payroll is projected at $141 million.
Yeah, it's super low.
So you're looking at the discrepancy here of $180 million.
Yeah.
Right? That they are, if they're just getting back to that level that they spent last year, and they just went to the NLCS. They just had a historic run. Steve Cohen's going to be feeling himself. He's going to be thinking to himself, all right, shit, we were almost there. We almost did it. We almost had the Subway Series in the World Series.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I got all this money to spend. Let me go out and get my man Juan Soto.
Yeah, and you know what? And this might work to their advantage, because on the other side of things, we're talking about payroll. Joel Sherman believes that, Hal Steinbrenner, he wants to actually go down. He wants to drop down from the $300 million payroll because they've been up there for so long.
Yeah.
And with that also being said, so we're looking at their payroll right now. They're expected to pay $185 million next season, but that's not even including arbitration. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dudes on arbitration. So
that's a lot of dudes.
Just do some math there. That's like $50 million right there.
Minimum.
Let's just say minimum, right? That jumps up, and you're also losing the free agency a lot of dudes. You're losing Juan Soto, you're losing Gleyber Torres, you're losing a bullpen arm and Conley, Alex Verdugo, Clay Holmes, Loaizaga, who I don't think pitched for them this year, Tim Hill, who also don't think pitched for them that much this year, but still, you're losing some guys. So you actually got to go and spend your money a little bit more wisely. And if Steve Cohen is bumping up the price and is competing heavily, and you're trying to stay under $300 million, apparently, that's going to be a very tough task. And if I am the New York Yankees, if I'm Hal, how could I look my fan base in the eyes the next season? Let's say, I guess if we win it all, then it's a little bit softer blow if Juan Soto lows. But if we don't and we just miss it and then Juan Soto walks, that's going to be a shitstorm.
Yeah, of course, man, because everyone, their dog's going to be thinking, like, what the hell, dude?
Why?
So you're at that point, it really is so clear, like, you're putting money over winning. And, again,
exactly.
like the Yankees, Yankee fans have it pretty good. Like you're always up there in payroll. Like I was talking about the Mets being like top 3 every single year since Cohen took over. But, Yankees, you're right there too.
Top 2,
like you're always in that mix with the Dodgers and the Mets now. But effectively what this boils down to me is all of the reports coming out are stating that Juan Soto doesn't care about longevity with the team, doesn't care about, their winningness attitude. I guess he cares a little bit, but, let's face it, the Mets aren't that far off from the Yankees, right? So, I mean, like, does he want to go to the Rockies? Probably not. Yeah. But, he wants to be at a competitive team, right? So he doesn't care that much about, like, the location or where he goes. He cares about the money. Yeah. And if there is a limit that the Yankees are willing to go to, I don't think that there is a limit for Steve Cohen and for the New York Mets. And that is why right now, if you're a Yankees fan, you got to win this fucking chip, dude.
Yeah,
because seriously, like, I'd be really concerned if you're walking into free agency, because the one thing that I could have held on to is the fact that, well, he's been here. He clearly likes it here. Maybe we do go and win that chip. That's got to incentivize him a little bit. Apparently, that's not the case.
No, I mean, if you really think about it, Juan Soto's bounced around his entire career, from Washington to San Diego, now to the Yankees. He's only been here for 1 year.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it would be kind of ignorant to think that Juan Soto owes the Yankees anything.
No, not really. Yeah.
I mean, like, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I really don't think it was he had any part of the decision-making of him going over to the New York Yankees. That was the New York Yankees. So it's not like he owes Yankee fans anything, as much as they may feel like they owe him something, and they might think or convince themselves that, like, well, he has to stay here because we're winning and everything. I think the money will talk at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree, right? So, honestly, if anything, I would say that the Yankees owe Juan Soto something.
Yeah, they do. They owe him a big fucking blank check.
Like, you guys would not be here right now if it wasn't for that man.
Agreed.
If he wasn't here doing what he does on a daily basis, if he didn't hit that home run and, just all the heroics that he's done all season long, you wouldn't be here. So I don't know. Yeah, Yankee fans, like, if he ends up signing with the New York Mets, he's automatically going to become the most hated person from a Yankee fan standpoint. But I do think that that's ridiculous, because if he signs with the New York Mets, what that means is Hal did not match that offer.
No, he didn't. Yeah,
I think
I will say, unless they win a World Series, because I'm kind of thinking of, like, again, Toronto fan base, but Kawhi Leonard. Where, like, he came here 1 year, won a chip, left to LA, and it's like, I still have respect for you, I
still have respect for you. I was upset when he made that choice, obviously, but yeah, of course, there's always going to be love there.
Yeah.
But I do believe, like, if the offers, this is where I'm at. If the offers are the exact same, like, let's say the Yankees, I'll say $100 million. It's going to be a lot more than that, right?
Yeah.
But okay, actually $600 million. Let's say $600 million.
Yeah.
Okay, $600 million he gets from the Yankees. $600 he gets from the Mets. If he does that, I think he's going to stay with the New York Yankees.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because, like, you're just, you have that, you're in the World Series, you're doing it. If you lose Juan Soto, though, it's because the Mets went up to 605.
Yeah.
And you weren't willing to do that. And if that's the case, then the only person that you have to get angry at yourself about is yourself and Hal and the Yankees management and everything like that. If you match their offer, I think he stays. But if not, I think he goes.
Yeah, I get, like, where, Joel Sherman's saying, like, they're trying to stay under $300 million and everything like that, but, man, like, you're already way over the luxury tax. What is staying under $300 million really going to make a difference? You know what I mean? Like, I can get it if you're like, oh, we got to stay under the competitive or not competitive balance, so the luxury tax, because we're a poverty team, and like the Blue Jays.
Sure.
We need to actually save every penny we can. But you're the Yankees. You never go underneath the luxury tax. So if it is going to be a difference of, like, that, it better be a difference of, like, 50 to 60, 75 million dollars for you to be like, oh no. Like, it better be drastic. Like, they better compete for him this offseason.
Well, and from my standpoint too, it's like, that's not the guy to cheap out on.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
No, it's
like,
not.
there's other players on this team that I look at where it's like, guys, like, trade him away. If that's actually the main concern, like, we got to get under, find somebody who's willing to take some of Rodon's contract or Stroman's contract or, like, anyone. Like, find a different way to do it, because Juan Soto, 26-year-old, gonna be MVP one day, gonna be a Hall of Famer one day.
That's your future now.
Like, exactly.
You thought Judge was your future? Getting Juan Soto just extended your future.
Extended it. Yeah, that's the thing. You're gonna be a super team
while
you have Judge and Soto. And then, when Judge starts to fall off, well, then you'll have to find somebody else to kind of complement Soto in his capacity, but you're still going to have Juan Soto.
You're still gonna have
That's
him.
not
That's
the
it.
guy
Right.
that you fucking cheap out on. You give him the truck, and you deal with the rest later. And if you do need to cut cut costs,
Right.
then yeah, like I'm looking at this roster and I know it's not as simple as just going, oh, like get rid of Trent Grisham or get rid of, like whatever. But
Right.
find a way. Seriously, find another way.
I'm sure they could. I mean, we'll have to see. But again, like you're the New York Yankees, you're going to the World Series this year. You got to imagine like revenue's up, viewership's up, like things are up. Things are up.
You would think so. Yeah, you really would think so.
I'd be selling so much Juan Soto merch, like in this time. I don't know what the whole situation
well,
is.
I'll tell you right now, you'd sell a hell of a lot more of it if he signs to a 14-year deal.
That's the thing, because like, you know what, if I'm a Yankee fan, I'm hesitant to buy any sort of Soto stocks if I'm on a budget.
Yeah.
I don't really know, unless we win a World Series.
Right.
Then I can like buy that forever.
But if he if Juan Soto, I'll tell you this from a Toronto Blue Jays standpoint, if in some fucking ridiculous reality the Toronto Blue Jays signed Juan Soto this offseason but I'm trying to put it in perspective for me. If they actually did that, they signed him to a 10-year, 12-year, $14 million deal. I buy his jersey the next day.
Yeah, the next day.
Because I know it's like, oh my God, this is our guy now for the next whatever, right? And I would imagine that the second that they lock in some type of extension, the following day, the jersey sales of Juan Soto from any Yankee fan, it's going to go through the roof because they love him.
Oh, yeah.
They love him. They just want to know that he loves them back.
Yeah, that's right, and we'll see if the money will talk, right? Wow, you bringing that up just made me realize we have no effing shot. Because we're talking, we're not going to compete with Steve Cohen,
dude.
Are you kidding me?
No, like this is the thing, folks. Let me be very clear right now. Juan Soto is going to be either a New York Yankee or a New York Met. I don't think he's going anywhere else, dude. Like, there's been rumors and reports out there talking about, like, I've heard the Blue Jays. I think I heard the Giants. I mean, I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the Giants, like payroll and everything like that. Maybe they're fucking crazy. Maybe they do something ridiculous.
Who knows? They got Buster Posey now.
Maybe, right? But ultimately, like, you just can't compete with Steve, and you can't compete with Hal. Those guys are. If the New York Yankees owner is going to be out, then I can promise you that your favorite team is going to be out unless it's Steve Cohen and the New York Mets. Yeah, agreed. So that's Juan Soto, everybody, and his contract stuff. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, what you think about that. Where do you think he's going to go? We got some other stuff kind of around the league. Another playoff team, the Padres. They got knocked out with the Dodgers. Everyone likes to remind us on our social media constantly. But they have a little bit of a problem, too. Not as big as a Juan Soto, but Ha-Seong Kim. They signed him from Korea, and he's been a very good player for him. A lot of stolen bases in the last couple of years. He's been very good with the contact. And but this year he had a little bit of an injury problem, and it looks like he might need surgery. However, that's not necessarily the problem. The problem is that the Padres may not have a shortstop next year because you have Ha-Seong Kim having a mutual option going into next year for $7 million. And, I mean, we've talked about Ha-Seong Kim with our own baseball team, the Toronto Blue Jays. I would sign this guy for well over $7 million. Granted, because, stolen bases are such a bigger part of the game. This guy's got versatility. He can actually hit for some good contact. I'd want Ha-Seong Kim for that, and I think he knows that, and a lot of teams would be paying a lot more money for him. So with that, with the Padres considering, like, okay, he's going to get some surgery this season, what are we going to get? It might be best for us to also cut ties, let him go test out the market, and then on Kim's side of things, test out the market because someone's going to pay me more. Right. So that leaves the Padres without a shortstop next season, so they might need to do some retooling. Let me start the rumor right now. This is gonna be you're gonna see this pop up in some different article in a week from now or something like that. Nick from Bad for Baseball said, and the title of it's gonna be real fucking clickbaity, and you're gonna get soaked in thinking that this is a real thing. I'll tell you right now, this is just a full on rumor that I will throw into the universe. You're manifesting. Yeah, you take it how you will, folks. You take it how you will. But what about Bichette? What about everybody talks about Bichette getting traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers, right? He could be a Dodger right there. They're going to need a shortstop. They have Tommy Edman. Right, they do. Honestly, you're arguably better at this point. What about the Padres? What about Bichette and Fernando Tatis Jr. rocking out together? That would be cool, right? That kind of honestly makes a little bit of sense to me. Like, you send, if from a Blue Jays standpoint, you send him away to the National League where you don't have to see him again. You don't have to think about it again. I feel like they've had a we've had at least talks with the Padres several times before about various different other trades. Like this is the somebody that we've been in communication with. This could make sense to me.
I mean, it does make sense to me. But then again, if you are looking at it from the Padres' perspective, where they're thinking, well, if we do want to cut ties because he is injured, Bichette just came off a surgery. Granted, it was his finger and not his calf, which he was dealing with most of the season. But there's some injury concerns there, and it's also kind of like a 1 year. It would be kind of a Band-Aid solution. Do the Padres really think that Bichette's going to be the one guy to kind of put them over the edge? Or
I don't. But I don't think I think you're looking at it the wrong way, because I don't think that this would be a move. Like, let's face it, Bichette coming into anywhere isn't the move now to put you over the edge.
Right.
This is a move where it's like you're bringing him in and you're hoping it's like, okay, we're gonna bring him in. We're gonna hope that this guy can bounce back. But like this isn't the one and only move to take us to the promised land or anything.
It's a filler kind of thing.
It's a filler thing with significant upside, I'd say. Because like Bichette isn't just like an Isaiah Kiner-Falefa or anything like that, where you put him in there and you're pretty confident what you're going to get here, and
this guy could lead the league in hits with Luis Arias.
Exactly.
Damn,
Yeah,
wait, what is Luis Arias' contract? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, like Bichette realistically could be up there. Now he could completely flop entirely, and that is part of the risk. Like the risk is built into that. But then, well, you know what? From a team that just traded from, well, if he flops entirely, he's on a 1 year. Well, he can walk. We'll find somebody else. I think from a Padres standpoint, if you're not going to end up, getting Ha-Seong Kim back, I think that you're obviously going to be looking at a Willy Adames, because that's everybody's top target, right? That is, I think, somebody who could actively, you can make an argument this guy could be a serious game changer for us.
I think a lot of people are going to be in on him, yeah.
For sure, right? Because he's kind of monopolizing that market. Yeah. But if you miss out on him, then
people could be calling.
I really think that Bichette is that next best kind of, okay, the upside here is still significant for us to be seriously interested, and maybe they make a move for him.
Dude, if they go get Bichette and Bichette returns to form, just picture this lineup. You got Luis Arias leading off, Bichette up in the 2-hole, and then you've got Fernando Tatis Jr. Now you're bumping everyone down. Yeah. Then you've got Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill. Profar's going to be gone. Maybe they sign him back. Who knows? Jackson Merrill,
Bogarts is in there. Can he get back 6, to form?
Et cetera, et cetera. So like that's
Cronenworth is in there,
dude. Yeah, like that's a gross top 3. Yeah, if everyone's playing.
That's the thing. You obviously got to see Bichette get back to where he was at one period of time.
Yeah, dude, that's sexy.
But I mean, you would be looking at. I mean, like, because there were times before, right, where it was like Bichette and Luis Arias 1 and 2 in hits, right?
Yeah, they were always competing.
That was exactly like they were there. Like. Everybody always talks about how the game is moving away from the whole conventional leadoff spot and everything like that. Well, I'll tell you right now, if you had the number 1 leader in hits followed by the number 2 leader in hits, it's probably going to result in a lot of fucking runs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's just how it's going to work.
Even if their on base percentage is really like not that far off from their batting average,
If both guys are batting .320, you'll find a way.
It'll be nice.
You'll find a way to make it work.
That's how you string hits together.
Yes,
have all the guys who lead the league.
Literally, and in today's baseball, everyone's talking about how it's so difficult to string hits together against these elite pitchers, which I do agree with. Probably the only way to counteract that is with the number 1 leader in hits and then the number 2 leader in hits, followed by a fucking Fernando Tatis jr. So I think that the fit makes a lot of sense if, of course, Ha-Seong Kim is not going to be returning there. And from a Blue Jay standpoint, like, they are, from my understanding, serious enough about at least engaging in these conversations that if the San Diego Padres get on the phone and start calling about it, this isn't an immediate no. This is a let's work through this together and see what the offer is. And then, decide after that type thing.
What do you think is the likelihood of Bichette getting traded this offseason? I think we've talked about it a lot on our other channel.
Yeah, I mean, the more that we get into this offseason, and really start to see some more reports and rumors coming out, I do think it's a lot higher than I initially thought it would be. I think honestly the biggest thing that will impact Bichette and him getting traded is the amount of interest in him from around the league.
Right.
Because I think that the Toronto Blue Jays, I think that they're in a position right now where they are open to it, and if they're just open to it.
Yeah, because the Blue Jays need to make a decision on what direction they're going in, right? And they've said like we want to compete. Well, if you're competing, well then you're not trading Bo Bichette. But if they're getting offers like crazy, and they're like, okay, well it actually makes more sense for us to restock the farm system, which is one of the worst in baseball, with a Bo Bichette trade, and then we go and we plug and play next year, or maybe we look to the free agent market. Maybe we go get Ha-Seong Kim, right? Because he would be adding into that shortstop market, or Willie Adames. We go figure out another solution that way, and we restock the farm system. So there's ways around
here's
it.
the thing, because I've always looked at it. I know that you're like your whole thing is like, well, if you're competing, you don't trade away Bo Bichette. And I hear that, but I also think that they are at a spot where, like you can still be competitive. And you can still have that competitive mindset and still trade him. Because let's say
they were better in the second half without Bo Bichette.
They were. And, like Bo Bichette's going to get paid what? Something like, high teens money, $15, $16 million, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just say, for instance, let's say you did trade away Bo Bichette and you send him to the Padres and you got a couple prospects in return. You restock. Now that's right. Now you got $16 more million to spend on a free agent.
Juan Soto.
Sure, or like let's say like a Profar or something like that.
Sure, Kim
or a Kim.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, are they going to be better than Bo? Maybe not. I don't know. But like at least then you restock the farm system. So I think really the likelihood of Bo Bichette getting traded all comes down to the amount of interest around the league, and if the offer's there, I think he'll go.
I want it. I'm waiting for that stream. That's going to be an epic stream.
That would be a wild one, dude. Would be a wild one.
That's literally like, it is franchise changing because he's been such a cornerstone of the Jays franchise for so long. And it's really we change our paths right now. Like, okay, we trade him. No, well, now what's next? Is this it? Are we, how are we going to, which direction are we going to go in? Because you're right. You could go in the direction of we're going to restock and get better guys to replace Bo Bichette at a high competitive level, or we could do nothing.
Right.
And just tank.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Going to full tank mode,
actually,
man.
Speaking of which, this is actually not a bad transition. I do want to bring this up. Just a quick little note. They do have the draft lottery is officially out.
It's sad, eh?
Yeah, other than the Dodgers and Padres. One of them will be 29, one of them will be 30. I mean, whoever wins will be 30, whoever loses 29. So that's pretty obvious right there. But they do have it set in the Blue Jays are number 5. We've known this from our other channel. The top 5 go Rockies, Marlins, Angels, Nationals, Blue Jays. And for those viewers out there that actually are probably thinking, "Oh, where the hell are the White Sox? Where are the A's? They were awful, dude. They are not high up. They have
0.
They have 0% chance of getting a top pick because of ineligible for lottery pick. A's team that received lottery pick in 2024 draft is a payer club. That's what they have in quotes
Payee.
here.
Payee club.
Or his payor?
Oh, interesting. Because
club.
Then later down the article it says the A's are a payee club.
Maybe it was typo right there.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
A team that gives rather than receives revenue sharing dollars. So there you go. The White Sox are not eligible for the year's lottery. The A's are a payee club, but landed lottery picks in 23-24. The payees cannot receive a lottery pick 3 years in a row. So there you go.
I'll be honest.
That's kind of stupid.
I don't fully understand it. Like I don't get why this is the case. I was explained to me a little bit earlier that it's almost like they've been so bad that they can't do it.
The way I'm reading it, the team that gives rather than receives revenue sharing, because revenue sharing happens a lot in the playoffs too. Like there's all this revenue sharing,
right?
Are not eligible, so they gave away their rep. Why would they do that? Are they because they're trying to tank? Is that why?
That's what I don't
make any sense.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. I mean, the one thing that we can pull away from this though is that if you are a White Sox or an Oakland Athletics fan, you are down horrendously. There is no. I would go so far to say that there might not be another team. Actually, this is
more bad.
Okay, wait. This is a great talking point. This is going to be a good clip. I'd see Barstool Sports make a clip about this. Name me a team in American professional sports more down bad than either the Chicago White Sox or the Oakland Athletics.
Ooh, that's tough because
I have one team. I have one team that maybe might come to mind for me.
North American?
Yeah. That might be more down bad than the White Sox or the A's. Only one team.
Utah Hockey Club, but at least they actually relocated because the Arizona Coyotes were them, and I would have said them. But I actually, because you're right, White Sox have the worst losing record in history. Detroit Pistons? Maybe Detroit Pistons.
I'm not super familiar.
They were really bad.
Are they terrible?
They were really terrible. But I don't think they didn't set like a record for losses. Like what about you? What were you thinking?
The one team that I think the literal one team that might be more down bad than the Chicago White Sox or the Oakland Athletics
I know what you're gonna say.
is the Cleveland Browns.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns.
Maybe.
But that's for a whole different accusation. Browns, you have. Well, to put it frankly, you literally have like a sexual harassing individual.
But like let's put all that to the side, which is a wild thing to say.
That's the big reason.
Yeah,
why.
but wait though. Let's put that to the side for a second. You also are what, like 1-5, 1-6. You're paying this guy.
You're paying a criminal.
Yeah, like $250 million. To be the worst. Like he can't throw. He cannot throw a football.
No,
like he can't.
I don't think he wants to be. Like I don't think he's really good at his job.
Now,
he doesn't want to be there.
And now he is injured for the season, which a lot of Cleveland Brown fans were very happy about.
They were cheering when he
they
went
were
down.
literally
They were cheering.
So that's what I mean. Like they are, I would argue, at that level of down bad. I don't know if it's worse though. I don't know if it's worse than the White Sox.
Yeah, because. It's pretty close.
It's close. It's
close.
Pretty down bad.
Would you say the A's are down bad worse than the White Sox?
Well, here's the thing: the Oakland Athletics, they might not be as bad on the field,
and they just lost their team. Lost their stadium.
But that's the thing; they have a whole other reason for being down bad. Yeah. They're still horrible. They are a horrible baseball team.
Yeah.
But now they don't even know where the fuck they're gonna go.
Yeah, they don't have a home. They're homeless.
Like legitimately,
they're homeless.
They don't have they don't even know who are their fans. Who supports this team?
Well,
I don't know.
The Oakland fans, but they're gonna have to go on the road now to Sacramento.
And let's face it, if I'm an Oakland fan, am I gonna keep supporting this team? I don't know how long.
I might. I think I would. I mean,
what if after Sacramento they move all the way across the country to
Vegas? Well, not across, but just down.
Yeah, maybe to Vegas, but maybe they go somewhere else.
Yeah,
I don't. It's not that deal's not locked in.
Right.
I don't know, man. Like I'm thinking to myself, if I'm an Oakland fan, I'm like, this is my opportunity.
You do have a chance.
I got one chance to hop on someone else.
This is where you got to show your loyalty, though, because I always like to pick teams to root for that are super bad. That's why I'm a Cardinals fan and the Arizona Cardinals and the football team. I like to root for the shit teams. And if you were ever to make a story to your grandchildren one day, like, I supported this team when they were in the pits and we won a World Series and it took me 60 years to get here, but we did it. That would be the best feeling in the world.
You're right, but there also comes a point, and I agree with you, man, like through thick and thin,
Absolutely.
But like you gotta have there is a part of it where there's a relationship aspect. We always joke around where it's like, you're like we're fans of the Toronto Blue Jays, we're fans of our team, and it's an abusive relationship. It's not like, I'll tell you right now, we have an actual chance. The Toronto Blue Jays have an actual chance of winning the World Series one day.
Yeah, our version of an abusive relationship is they just haven't bought me flowers in a while.
Yeah, like it's not. You get to a point where like it is actually an abusive relationship.
They're in a relationship where like, you threw my clothes on the road and you hit me and it's bad.
It's bad.
I gotta call like the police.
Yeah.
Domestic violence.
Dude, I'll make it a little bit more real to life. You left, and I don't know where you're going.
I don't know where
you
you're
didn't
going.
even fucking tell me where you went.
You've turned off your location.
Yeah, like,
you
just
talked
left.
to me in weeks.
Yeah. I'm like, what do I do now?
And you left me at the worst time. Like, I just found out like I'm pregnant.
Sure.
And now you're gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know who to turn to.
Dude, that's what it would be like to be an Oakland Athletics fan. So I hear where you're coming from in the sense of, like you want to be with this team through everything. But there actually does come a point where I think you got to face facts a little bit and go, okay, I would like to watch my team actually win a chip in my lifetime.
Right.
I don't think it's ever going to happen with them.
Well, maybe you go on a few dates, you test it out, and then maybe they come back down that long, dusty road
That's the
one
thing.
day, and then
I'm not
you
saying
return.
I'm not saying that you need to immediately hop on the Dodgers bandwagon here.
Yeah, 'cause that would be
because that would feel a bit like cheating.
Cheating, you're
right?
cheating,
That would
yeah.
feel like you're not doing service to yourself and whatever. But if you're around Oakland, who's to say you can't become a San Francisco Giants fan? You're relatively close. Who's to say that you can't, look a little bit north and become a Seattle fan?
Ooh,
I
don't
mean,
do that.
I'm just saying, man, like, ultimately, like, there comes a point where you got to hop off. Point being, though, White Sox and Oakland Athletics, 0% odds to get that number 1 overall selection. Arguably the most down bad franchises in North American sports. The only team that could maybe rival them is the Cleveland Browns. You guys listen to the comments down below. What do you think? Is there any other North American sports team that's more down bad than the White Sox or the A's right now? Because they don't even have a shot at getting Ethan Holiday or anyone good.
That's terrible, guys. All right. Well, actually, this is crazy. Because you reminded me of Ethan Holiday. How much do first rounders get paid in signing bonuses? Like, I think it's like in the MLB, it's like $7 million. Maybe if you go down a little bit later, it's like $4 million. Like,
is that true? Yeah.
Yeah. These first rounders, right? Like a decent signing bonus. Not like sets up your life. Well, this guy who had the Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani's historic 50-50 home run ball. That's what this headline says. He sells the ball for basically a signing bonus of a first rounder in the MLB draft. He sold it for $4.4 million at an auction.
Yeah,
it happened. So we brought it up with there was a whole drama. We'll talk about it a little bit here, of everyone claiming that the ball was stolen for them. There's that famous video out there where they're like battling for it, and this guy comes in there and rips it from this kid's hand, and he's complaining. But that guy who ended up taking the ball, he had to go through a bunch of legal stuff, and they said, "Okay, you're clear to sell the ball now."
So let me be clear.
Go ahead.
Was it for sure that guy?
Yes, it was that guy.
He
sold the ball
because again, from reading this article by Bleacher Report, like, this is all talking about like Golden in terms of the auctioning company, Golden Auctioning Company. Like, they auctioned the ball off, they did everything like that. I just want to be clear that this is in fact like that guy is going to get this money.
I believe so.
Because nowhere in this article does it actually talk about how that guy is going to get it. They do say that several fans filed lawsuits claiming rightful possession of the expensive souvenir, causing a delay in the auction, though an agreement was eventually made to allow Golden to proceed with the auction.
I want to say that how auctionings work is, he gives them the ball, they might get a cut of whatever they get, and then but he gets a lot majority.
I would hope so, yeah, because I mean, like, if
I wouldn't be giving it up. I wouldn't even be the auction. I'd be auctioning on eBay.
Sure. Yeah, like, if I just want to make sure that like they didn't take the ball away from this guy or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, I told everyone right after it happened, I'm dropping the fucking elbow. I am drop kicking. I don't care who you are. You could be 70 years old. I am drop kicking you across the stadium if you get in the way between me and Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 ball.
If that was on video, I think they would actually have a case to get the ball away from you. If you
Don't
were
care.
drop kicking a 70-year-old man,
all right, well,
then you're not having the ball anymore.
Tell you what, you can fucking look for me all you want. I'm on a first way ticket to Japan, and I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna start my new life over there now, and I'm gonna auction the ball off over there. Okay,
my God.
Because this ball is worth $4.4 million. That is the most that any sports ball has ever went for. That's in
crazy.
any sport, guys. That's I don't know what like the Tom Brady's last touchdown pass, that football, less than this.
Wow.
Ronaldo's whatever is goal, that soccer ball, less than this. Like,
right.
$4.4 million. That is the most out of any
Insane.
ball in sports ever, everyone. So, yes, I am gonna drop kick someone across the stadium because I gotta get this.
But you're right. You gotta boot it. It's gotta be a game plan immediately. Like, I'm getting out of the country.
Oh, my life is over. Yeah, my life here is over.
You're
It's
living in
changed
Japan now.
Yeah, 100%.
You're just an Ohtani collectible specialist.
You can come with me if you want. But I don't really care. Actually, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna make my $4.5 million, and that's gonna be my life. I'm gonna live off that.
You
now.
better start learning Japanese. That's your whole life.
Well,
now.
here's the thing. But once I go over there and I sell it, I can then go anywhere I want.
Right.
You know? Because then I could fly. Then I could come back. Right. And what are they going to do? They're going to take my money away now? I don't think that seems pretty far removed at this point, you know?
Or maybe just wait till the heat dies down. Wait till the next season, you know?
Yeah, 100%. You know, once he's hitting his second 50th.
Yeah, then it's all good.
It's like, oh, okay, well, somebody else is on video for drop kicking someone across the stadium, you know? So it is what it is. But either way, shout out to that guy for literally having your life changed, man. I cannot imagine how crazy that is, that feeling. Like, you actually did just win the lottery, you know, in a capacity you did.
Literally. One more thing before we go on and talk a little bit about the World Series. We obviously talked about it in the last podcast, but we'll talk a little bit about it a little more. One more thing. This is some cool news. Rob Manfred announced that he expects the automated strike zone to be implemented within the next 4 years. Okay, so 25, 26, 27. Manfred's final year as commissioner of Major League Baseball will be in 28, and he hopes to see that in that time frame there will be an automatic strike zone. One last mark before he goes and
he really wants that to be like his final hurrah, or like part of his legacy.
Yeah.
Which is great. I do think that this is something that the MLB needs to do. I'm kind of shocked that it's taken them this long to do it.
Because they're testing it out. Like, they got to make sure it works.
Yeah, you know? Test it out. Make sure it all works. Like, get that down pat. But like, assuming the technology is there, and I think the technology is there.
Right.
Like, this is a no-brainer to me. You can make it a challenge system if you want. You can. I actually don't give a fuck. Like, just fine.
It'll be a challenge system.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're gonna do. There's gonna be one where I think there's like 3 challenges throughout a game, and I don't know if it's regardless or not, whether it's called back or not. You lose your challenge, they're going to test it out. They're actually going to test it out in spring training this upcoming year, so that's kind of cool. We can
Very
see
exciting to see that happen. This is something that's been needed. But Rob, like, let me be very clear, man. Like, you put this in, that's great. I think that's phenomenal for the game. Your tenure as MLB commissioner, I will always look at it very poorly.
Yeah, I mean, he's a horrible commissioner. I will give him credit, though. I think the best changes he would make to this game, I think I loved the whole thing of stolen bases. You know, increasing the base size, the pitch clock, the only 3 pickoff limit. I think that was phenomenal for the game.
Yeah.
This is the next step. And like, if he can end with that, that's great. But everything before that was so ass.
And also too, like,
the marketing and promotion's been ass.
Yeah, it has, right? Like, you look at some of the stuff that other sports are doing, and it's just like, it's head and tails above what baseball does to support their players, promote this game and make it just grow the game. So yes, I do agree that he has done some things right, but overall, I haven't loved what you've done for the game of baseball, But either way, this would be a nice little finishing moment. So we're going to see some of that in spring training. It is desperately needed because, you see effectively every game how, like, there is a game-changing call.
Oh, yeah.
That should never have been there.
Dude, so a little side note, speaking of umpires and game-changing calls, I saw an interview with Nick Castellanos, and someone asked him, what's your favorite umpire behind the dish? And he's like, this might be controversial, but Angel Hernandez. And they were like, oh, really? Why? Well, it's because Angel Hernandez and Angel's father and Nick Castellanos' father, like, apparently, I think Angel Hernandez's father, like, helped Nick Castellanos' dad with, like, a surgery or something like that. And they're kind of like family friends. But there you go. That's another bullshit thing. So he always treats Castellanos right, gives them all the favorable calls because they're friends.
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Said.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there you go, guys. Like, human bias is a real thing. For anybody who says, like, oh, like, that's not, everybody's, no, it's there, right? We've always said it too. And I do hate that this narrative is a thing. But, like, as Toronto fans and Canadian fans, like, we've always kind of felt like, they're being a bit unfair to the Toronto Blue Jays. How much of that is true? How much is that just being like shit, pissed off fans? I don't know, but there is an element of bias involved in all of this.
You look at the stats they collect every year in, year out. The missed calls, Blue Jays are always on the top of the list every year. It's just no one wants to see a Toronto Canadian team win.
Yeah,
that's just how it comes down to.
Could definitely be a factor right there, folks. So automated strike zone is definitely needed. Let's finish off this podcast by then looking at that World Series once again. Before we do, quick shout out to Greta, everybody. Greta is the spot this fall. Incredible games, incredible food. If you're looking for a fun place to go watch the World Series, highly recommend Greta. I imagine they'll be playing every single game as it happens.
Sure.
Great article by MLB kind of looking at some of the ridiculous stats that we're seeing in this World Series. And it is a historic one, folks. Like, you got the juggernaut of the New York Yankees and Judge and Soto and Garrett Cole and, it's the resurgence of Stanton going on there, like so many different incredible stars there. And then you look over at the LA Dodgers and arguably even more star power on that team as well, And I love this one here. The first thing to note is MVPs.
Yeah,
the amount of people that have won MVPs in this thing. You got Ohtani, you got Betts, you got Freeman, you got Judge, you got Stanton, who have all won an MVP before, and you're going to have Ohtani and Judge win another one MVP. Yeah. And that also doesn't even factor in the fact that Soto has never won an MVP. Probably should have at this point. In all of the incredible seasons that he's had. Like, holy shit, dude. The amount of talent that's in this ball game is crazy.
I know, right? Like, it is insane. Like, this is a storybook World Series matchup. And this was already kind of said before all over social media, but there's going to be two players with over 50 home runs on each team.
Yeah,
that is the first time that it's ever happened with at least 50 home runs, right? And they keep going on in this article about just the amount of slug. This will be the 6th World Series between each league's home run leader and the first since 1956 with Mikey Mantle and Duke Schneider, where the total home runs were enough to lead each league, just in both teams. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a trio of elite hitters. There's another one here because they just finally bring up Juan Soto. He ranked 3rd in MLB among qualified players of WRC plus. This year at 180 behind Judge of 218 and Ohtani 181. This will be the first series in postseason history to have the top 3 qualified players in WRC plus from that season. So again, there's more eliteness going on.
Yeah, man. I look at like the Hall of Fame watch that they have here, just looking at players that like are at least on projected to be a Hall of Famer, and there's a lot of Hall of Famers in this ball game, man. You're gonna have. They're talking about Soto, Judge, Stanton, Garrett Cole, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. These are all like every single one that I just listed off. I would say better chances than not is going to end up in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. Like, so even in 20 years from now, we're going to be looking back at this World Series and going, holy shit, the amount of people that were in this thing.
I know.
I think that this article for me and just all the statistics are pointing to the fact that bet the over.
Right.
Like, the amount of offense that we might see in this series is going to be insane. Like, I think that you're going to get a couple of, like, 10-8 wins, or like those big like lead change back and forth. Like they put up 4, we put up 6, they put up another 3, and it's back and forth like that. Where we're just getting lead changes on lead changes because ultimately most of the star power in these series comes from the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's crazy in that whole Hall watch thing that you're looking at too, this is the first time since 1996 where they've had 7 or more Hall of Famers, and this is just assumed Hall of Famers. There could be someone in that lineup that we don't even know of. I mean, that could be a Hall of Famer later on that you never know.
Sure.
Right? So, it is going to be absolutely just a phenomenal watch. Now, let's talk about, there's an article right here that kind of talks about, how each team is going to win it all. And we've kind of already talked about this. They kind of give their notes, like their big thing for the Yankees win it all. They have one guy here saying like they need Garrett Cole to be Garrett Cole because he's going to be taking the ball in game 1. They need him to be dominant starter Garrett Cole. They need Luke Weaver to carry the bullpen. They got 2 guys saying Luke Weaver's the big guy to get this through. And then on the Dodgers side of things, they've got, they got to keep up their whole thing with the bullpen.
Right.
Let's not overthink Ohtani. Ohtani's got to absolutely explode and win the MVP. So what I wanted to ask you, like, what is your... Take a moment because I know I'm kind of put you on the spot here. If you had to give your key to victory for each team, what would it be in this World Series?
This is going to sound pretty basic, but I would argue that the key to victory here is the same thing for both teams. You look at the offenses on both of these squads, and they're incredible, right? And it's just star power on star power throughout. it really does come down to which pitching staff is going to be able to shut down the opposing hitters. Whether that be a game plan thing from the manager, like whether we know how to attack Ohtani. Aaron Boone comes up, figures it out, and we figured out exactly how to get this guy out. So whether that's a game plan thing from the coaches or an execution standpoint from Garrett Cole, from Blake Trinan over there on the LA Dodgers, right? Whichever pitching staff is capable of actually getting the better and putting these MVPs on their back foot, I think that's the team that walks away here. And they will have different strategies to do it, because I do believe that probably the Yankees starters are a little bit stronger than the Dodgers starters.
Right.
So from a Yankee standpoint, you're looking for your starting pitching to go deep. From a Dodger standpoint, you're looking for your entire bullpen, as they say, to remain sound, to remain strong, and to keep getting these outs, weathering the storm. So, yeah, it really does come down to run prevention for me in this one, because you know that your team should put up 5 to 6 runs a game.
Yeah, dude, there's so many different key to victories for me, and I look at the Dodgers, and if I were to try to sum it up in one line, have a quick hook. And what I mean by that is Dave Roberts, if you are rolling out those days where it is Walker Buehler, or it is if Yamamoto, he's trending in the right direction, but if Yamamoto doesn't have it, quick hook. Get the bullpen in. It's bullpen now. You got to be able to see it and quick hook, because it could easily fall apart when you're facing that Yankees lineup in a matter of
That's
moments.
the thing. Yeah,
right?
At any given moment, these offenses could explode for 5-6 runs an inning.
And same with the Yankees too. You've had it, I don't want to say pretty easy, but easier than the Dodgers, getting to this point where you haven't had to go through this deep of a lineup. You got to kind of do what Dodgers did, and you got to have a quick hook too. It's going to be a very strategical, methodical battle between the managers, between the pitchers and the hitters, and it's almost like a war of attrition this entire series, where you're going to give up your hits. You're going to give up your home runs. You're going to give up your fair of clutch hits. It's, can you give up less than the other team, Yeah,
I really do think that, for me, whose pitching staff is going to emerge, who's going to get hot at the right time, because we're just that's the only, I guess, question mark. You have so many certainties in the lineup from both squads, so many certainties in the lineup from both teams. So the question mark is whose pitching is going to show up. I don't know. That's why I think it's going to Game 7, dude. That's why I really think it's going to Game 7, because there is so many different factors here, and I believe that it is going to be that back and forth battle from these offenses. And even because there's going to be games as well, where no one's pitching staff shows up, and then it comes down, it really turns into a slugfest. And I think that you're going to see a 10-8 win in one of these games. That's going to happen, right? So.
Yeah. It could go anyway, man, and it's impossible to even think about who to even bet on. I've got the betting odds here by Betway. Shout out to Betway, and they obviously are favoriting the Dodgers right now. They are, I believe, 176 favorite. That's a multiplier of 176, guys. 1.76. Then Yankees is 210. I don't really feel comfortable doing either or. I have no idea.
Well, for me, I think it's an underdog play here.
Right.
You continue to bet the underdog every game, because I think that these teams are so evenly matched. I would, if I had to bet my life, go Dodgers in 7. I think I said that last podcast.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
But really, I am pretty fucking split, dude. I'm pretty split down the middle here.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too, man. And I'm looking at the World Series MVP. It's tough. I mean, obviously, the World Series MVP.
Let me guess the top 5 here, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go in any order, but the top 5, it's going to be Shohei Ohtani. It will be Aaron Judge, Soto, Betts. I guess the 5th one is where it starts to get questionable. I don't know if they're still giving Freddie Freeman great odds, because he hasn't been. Oh, Stanton.
That's the top 5.
Yep.
And then after that, you got Muncy, Edman, because he's hot right now. Teoscar Hernandez, Enrique Hernandez. Actually, I saw a crazy stat that Enrique Hernandez against, I think it was against Garrett Cole in his career, was something stupid. He bats 700 or something.
Really?
Don't quote me on that, but it was something dumb.
Damn.
Where it's okay, he's gonna be showing up.
Yeah, that's gonna be a battle.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that is the episode today, everybody, for Bad for Baseball. That is what we got. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going around the league. we're going to have a lot of World Series coverage happening on this channel next Monday, Thursday. We're going to be going live, doing some live play-by-plays on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're going to be live for Game 1, though.
We're going to be live for Game 1 tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so don't miss it. It's going to be an epic battle. But, guys, let us know all your thoughts in the comments down below about everything that we talked about, from, Juan Soto's contract, Ha-Seong Kim leaving the Padres, and as well, like, the whole other things, like the ball, the Manfred thing. And let us know who got winning the World Series, because we want to know that too.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hit that like, smash the subscribe button, and we will catch you in the next one.
Cheers.